This week, we are talking about like why mindset? Why is mindset so important? Why is it more important than skills? Now, look, I don't want you to get me wrong. Skills are very valuable. And in order to do a specific job, you need to have some skills, right? I think we all know that. However, I know that you've seen me speak this truth that success is 95% mindset and 5% skill. I've said it many, many, many times. And so, how exactly do we know this? Have you ever known a brilliant human being who is broke? Or, like, I bet every single one of you can think of somebody who is so brilliant, but they can't get out of their own way, right? They might even have several degrees, like knowledge wise, boom, way up here. But they're not doing anything with that knowledge. Do any of you guys, can you relate? Can you think of somebody? Has somebody popped into your head like that? So I met a guy, this has been several years ago, working in a chiropractor's office, who I could tell was smart, like super nice guy, super personable. We started talking, and I found out that he held a few different degrees in marketing, and yet he was a receptionist. Now, I had just started my mindset journey back then, and so we didn't get into any conversations about it. And I'm not judging him because I don't know why he was doing what he was doing. He may have a perfectly reasonable story for that, but I'm going to guess that there were mindset issues involved. I'm just going to guess that. How many people do you know that graduate from college at the top of their class, yet are only mildly successful in their job? Right? Like you kind of assume that those kind of people are going to be wildly successful. And then a good percentage of them are not. If you're an entrepreneur, how many people do you have on your team that you know without a shadow of a doubt could be wildly successful, but they just aren't? I don't want to trigger anybody here, right? One of my gifts is I can see the potential in people. Like I can see it almost instantly. Not that I mean everybody has potential, but like for my business, I can see when somebody has that potential to be massively successful. But here's the thing, I cannot think for them. You cannot think for them, right? There's something getting in the way of them being successful. And it's always right here. It's always right here. So all I can do sometimes is pray that my messages and coaching comes through over time. So as you guys are learning this, you know, then you can relay a lot of this information to your team. Invite them to the group so they get some of it from somebody else, because I promise you the people that have the most direct access to me, they don't utilize me, and they oftentimes don't even listen to me because they've heard me for like years and years and years. So they just like block it out. Even though I'm a completely different person than I was 8 years ago, I can provide a whole lot of value. A lot of times they just close their mind to it. It happens. It happens. So sometimes hearing from another person is always a good thing, right? There's some universal laws that I find many people don't actually know a lot about. And one of them is gravity. What goes up must come down, right? I think everybody knows about that one. But the next one is that everything is created twice, once in the mind and next in reality. Everything is created twice, once in the mind and next in reality. What you think will always produce a result, good or bad. What you think produces specific actions that you take or you don't take. How many of you know how to do specific activities in your business, but you just don't do them? I know. I know some of you are doing that. There's a gap in between what you know and what you're doing or what you're capable of doing. Because you know, right? You know. But this gap is also where you are and where you want to be. Maybe I should do it this way. Where you are and where you want to be. This goes back to that person that you see huge potential in, but they just can't get out of their own way. Let me tell you, like I said, if you have an opportunity to have a relationship with somebody who has done what you want to do, utilize that. That alone is worth working on your mind for. So let me ask you this question. Are you somebody who somebody else sees potential in that you haven't done anything with? Hello, Teresa. Hello, Donna. You guys, do you like being in that space if that's you? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. It's uncomfortable to be uncomfortable, right? Look, change is uncomfortable, period. I want you to think about maybe yourself or maybe your kids when you got braces or they got braces. Was getting braces comfortable? No, especially like right after the first day or two after that, after getting them on, or even after any adjustment, because then there's movement, right? However, as you sit in the uncomfortable over time, it becomes not so comfortable and your teeth have moved. All of a sudden, it's not so uncomfortable anymore. And before you know it, you get the braces off and you have the smile that you've always dreamed of. You can relate that directly to life. It will almost always be uncomfortable at first, but as soon as you sit in it, right, eventually the sensation of the uncomfortable feeling is gone as you start taking action and you realize, oh, okay, that's not so bad. Then all of a sudden, what was uncomfortable a while ago, all of a sudden becomes your new norm. And you've grown. You've grown. That's called growth. And your business has grown too. That is the power of your mindset. You can learn all the skills in the entire world. As a matter of fact, the vast majority of people who are obsessed with learning and learning and learning and learning and learning before they ever take action, typically lack self-confidence. They don't like to be uncomfortable, so maybe they start spending more and more time learning so that they think at some point they won't feel as uncomfortable when they actually take the action. It typically doesn't work that way. I'm just saying. You actually tend to learn more when you just jump into something. And being the perfectionist I am, I have never been that person until recently. So you guys, like, I can relate. I can relate so vividly. And I think that's the beauty of what I teach is I've gone through all of the phases. I've gone through every single phase. I've been massively uncomfortable. And now some things I'm not massively uncomfortable about anymore. Right? So what is the cost of the philosophy of learning before you actually do something? Like months, sometimes years go by with no real results, at least not the results that you're thinking of, that you're imagining. And in some cases, all of a sudden, the dream just dies because so much time has passed and you've lost your passion. Like all of it's gone. This thing that you were given, that was such a gift. You knew it was such a gift. You felt it with every ounce of your being, but yet you just couldn't move forward. What did that cost you in time and money and potential? What did that cost you? And has it been worth it? I'm gonna guess no. You have the ability to observe your thoughts and you have the ability to change your thoughts. This is what I teach. This is what I coach you through. Because this change is most often uncomfortable. The investment in learning exactly how to do this is so worth it. Sure, you're going to earn more money 100% of the time, but whom you become in the process is actually so much more valuable, right? Who you become, you have that forever. You have that forever. The wiseness and the wisdom that you can pass down to your children and their children. If you would like to chat about my program and how it can change your own life, please reach out. You can start anytime. I get a lot of people who message me and they're like, when is your next group starting? I don't have groups that start. Sometimes when I do an event, which I will be doing again, by the way, sometimes when I do an event, yes, there are several people who start at one time, but you can actually start at any time. It's just an ongoing thing. So I hope this was helpful. I want to thank you for listening. And if you know somebody who has massive potential but has a mindset that is holding them back, feel free to invite them to the group. Tag them on this video. And I thank those of you who occasionally, not very often, but occasionally tag me on social media. I appreciate it so much. Of course, I'm always looking to expand my business. And so anytime you tag me, especially like on Instagram, it makes it super easy. I can reshare that. So my Instagram is Lori J. Hayes. That's how you find me there. But I want to encourage you this weekend, take a little time to observe your thoughts, right? Especially when it comes time to do certain things in your business that make you a little nervous. Observe without judgment. Observe your thoughts and maybe just write them down to start with, right? Maybe just write them down to start with. And, you might go, so is that thought serving me or is that thought holding me back? That's a great question to ask. All right, you guys, I hope this has been very helpful. Thank you for joining in. Tag some people in here that you feel like this would be helpful for them, and I will see you soon. Bye, y'all.